Hello there, my name is Lawrence Segbo once again. Today I'll be teaching on 10 things you must check before buying a house. 10 things you must check before buying a house. In my years of practice as a real estate investor, a prop tech specialist, a real estate agent, I've come to realize that a lot of people make property purchase decisions without ensuring that they are buying correctly, and that's obviously as a result of their ignorance about some things. I've seen people buy properties and then later come back to say that they discovered that the place didn't have electricity, you know, and they were carried away by the beauty of the property, and then after purchase they got to realize that the property had no light, so they had to now go through all the stress of getting light fixed in the place. I've had thousands, loads and loads of complaints in my years as a real estate person. So today I will be teaching you 10 things you need to look out for before making that purchase decision. Buying a house is it may be one of the biggest decisions, one of the biggest financial decisions you will ever make. The scary part is many buyers just focus on tiles, they focus on POP, they focus on ceilings and fancy kitchens, while ignoring the things that actually determine whether they have made a smart investment. In this video I'll walk you through these 10 things. Just listen attentively and pen down the points that are revealing to you, so that you don't make costly mistakes that you regret later. The first we have to understand here is verify the ownership. So you must learn to verify who's selling. The fact that someone appears to be the one selling doesn't make him automatically the seller. You need to verify him as a seller. You never assume the person selling is the owner of the property. So get documents, ask questions, ask about the title documents, compare, check the name he says is his name. Sometimes it's not a bad thing to go as far as asking for his means of identification. So you tally it with the name on the document, to confirm that he's actually the owner of the property. And then you are not a lawyer, you're not you don't work in the ministry, so you should ask professionals to verify the documents. Let them check to be sure that the person that claims he is the owner is actually the owner. Let them check to be sure that the property doesn't have issues. Let them check to be sure that there's no loan on the property, there's no mortgage, or they didn't borrow money with the property. So all of those concerns are necessary before you make further commitment. So verify the ownership, verify who's selling, and it's going to help you. So remember, buying a beautiful house means nothing if ownership isn't clear. Right, so that said, the second point is check the title document. Check the title document. Every house sold today has a title document. It can either be CFO, it can be governor's consent, it can be gazette, it can be excision, whatever. Just find out what the property has before taking the next step. So you examine the document, get a lawyer, check the deed of assignment, let him check the survey, let him check the governor's consent, let him check everything. And if the person selling is telling you that he doesn't have documents to sell, all he has is receipts, and it's a building, then it's worth questioning. So the basic advice I give about this is, do not do property verification by yourself, except you are a lawyer and except you know how to go about confirming the title document from the database that the government provides. Right, so that said, always remember that good documentation is what protects your investment. So at the end of the day, you are both buying the house and buying the title document that the property has. So be sure to check properly before committing your money to any property. The third you have to know is inspect the structural integrity of the property. Inspect it. So don't be distracted by fresh paint and modern finishing. No, carefully inspect for cracks on the wall, inspect for uneven floors, inspect for damp walls, inspect for roof leaks, inspect for signs of poor workmanship. All of these things are key. So if you check these things yourself, you would know whether to proceed or not. I've seen a house that when you enter into the house, it looks as if it's slant, but from outside it's looking okay. The more you go inside, the tiles looks like it's bent. So that's a structural problem. Clients, buyers, investors should be guided, by checking all of these factors before committing. So never forget that cosmetic finishings can hide expensive and structural problems. So check properly. Sometimes people go as far as getting the valuer, to come look at the property, look at the materials that were used to build it before committing. So ensure that you carefully inspect the property, inspect the structure, inspect the walls, check for uneven floors, check for the walls, check if the roof is leaking. You can end up paying for a house and then spending extra millions of naira changing the entire roof because of water problems if you don't inspect properly. So don't be carried away by the pictures you see online. Ensure that beyond going to see the nice house, look out for these details so that you don't make mistakes. Investigate the neighborhood. That's the fourth one. Investigate the neighborhood. You're not just buying the house, you're also buying the environment. So you don't just inspect only the house. Go around. A great house in the wrong neighborhood is still a poor purchase you get. So go around. Look at the environment. Check for security. Check for noise levels. Check for flood history. Check for schools. If you have children, of course, be sure that the school is close by. Check for hospitals. Check for shopping centers. Check for future development. Where is this place going? Check all of those factors before you buy. Except maybe you just want to buy for the sake of buying, right? So if you want to buy and you want your money to really yield results and give you what you want, be sure to check for all of this so you do not make costly mistakes rather. So that said, you're not just buying a house. Never forget, you are also buying the environment around it. Like I said at the start of this video, a lot of people don't ask important questions before buying. They just carried away with the house and the space. They're already envisioning how their wives will stay in a certain room and their kids and all that. While all those are important, it's also necessary to ask the right question about water supply, ask about electricity stability, ask about if there's a functioning borehole, ask about backup power solution. Ask those questions and ensure you're getting the right answers. If the answers you're getting is not satisfactory, take it a step further and ask someone else in the environment to be sure. So check for water and electricity. That's key. Like I said, you don't want to get into a property and then discover that water is not running, and then you check and discover also that there's no borehole or there's no pumping machine, so you have to go by yourself. All those amount to extra cost that puts you in a position that you might not actually want to be in. So the sixth on the list is check accessibility. Visit a property at different times of the day before committing. So it's just a way to play safe. So ask yourself, how bad is the traffic? Are the roads accessible during the rainy season? How long will it take to get to work or school from the house? So a dream home shouldn't become a daily transportation nightmare. It's actually a home that I intend to stay in, so it should be easily accessible by by you, your children, and all. When you're going to school, when your wife is going somewhere, it should be easily accessible to all of you. So I'm saying your wife, ladies too can listen to this and feel somehow. So your husband or your fiance. All right, sorry about that. Okay, so that said, so never forget that it is important to check for accessibility before committing. So the seventh on our list is understand the hidden costs. Now this is where a lot of people have had issues, after buying a property. So you must understand the hidden cost of a property, so you don't make costly mistakes. What is possible is sometimes you can buy a house and then discover that you are supposed to also pay for some other charges in the estate. Maybe you have electricity charge to pay for, maybe you have to pay for a certain connection or whatever. So ask those questions before you pay, so that you don't end up exhausting your budget for the property purchase and then needing to plan for, or suddenly pay a separate money that you didn't plan for. You get? So now that's important. You ensure you ask questions about the other charges, right? So legal, are there legal charges, are there agency fees, service charges, maintenance costs, security fees, estate dues. Knowing the total cost will help you avoid unpleasant surprises, right? So you don't want to have yourself amazed by an extra cost that you didn't plan for. So check for extra cost or hidden costs before you conclude, and be sure that the hidden cost doesn't is not overwhelming or too much for you to handle. So if it's fine, if it's okay by you after you've done all the other checks, you feel the extra charges are perfect, then of course make progress and quickly pay for your property. And all of this doesn't mean that you waste time, right? Properties don't wait for anybody. So that's the balance. You don't say because you're doing due diligence, kill precious time. No, make out time. Make out time for the purchase, right? So don't do it when you are busy with other things, so you don't make mistakes. Make out time. If it's 3 days, if it's 4 days, if it's a week, go ahead, take your time, do everything you have to do. Do your due diligence, or do your inspections of the property before you finally commit. Of course, due diligence doesn't just mean coming to check all of these things. Yeah, you also have to ensure you're checking for the property documents, right? So that's not your job to do. That's the job of a professional. A lawyer can do that. A real estate lawyer can handle that for you, right? So then, of course, you can get a surveyor to be sure that it's the property is truly, the survey truly, is truly correct with what the government has, right? So then also ensure you check the lawyer checks for, confirm the deed of assignment and the contract of sale and all that documents to be sure that you are safe to proceed before you buy. So then assess the security. That's 8. Your family's safety should never be an afterthought, right? So you should check the estate security, check the street lighting, CCTV coverage, check the crime history, ask questions. One of the important things you do as a buyer, don't just rely on what the seller is saying. Every seller wants to sell to get money, so you shouldn't put your life in danger because of someone's plan to make money, right? So go about asking other people questions. If you feel the seller will feel offended asking those questions in his presence, you can come on a different day. You can come on a different day, on a day that he's not around, or you get. So come on a different day. You can go with the agent that works with you. Go, let him take you around. Go ask neighbors, ask the security people at the gate, ask questions, ask the man walking, the painter working somewhere. He might have history about what happened, how they killed somebody somewhere. All of those details are key. So ask questions, ask people in the environment, and ask people in the neighboring environment. They will be able to tell you details before you commit. Right. So ask for emergency access. Now that's also is also very important. You need to know emergency access in case you have to run. Right. All right. So you need to know shortcuts. So just to keep yourself safe before you commit. Now, all of these things doesn't take 1 year. It's a couple of days. They are done, and it will save you spending. It will save you health. It will save you of your life. If you apply this principle. So, peace of mind is one of the greatest benefits a home can offer. So, it's your responsibility to ensure that security is certain. So number 9, we're talking about consider the future value. Consider the future value of the property. Don't just ask yourself, can I afford the house? That's not the only question to ask. Also ask, will this property increase in value over the next 5 or 10 years? So you don't want to put yourself in a problem or in a situation where you now buy a property and then development is not coming there anytime soon. So consider the future value, buy correctly, ask will this property increase in value over the next 5 years or 10 years. Ask what developments are coming into this environment, and before you buy. So look for one of the ways to know about the future value. Look for upcoming infrastructural projects. Right, what is coming up here? Oh, these guys are building factories. Oh, nice. These guys are building schools here. It's like a boarding school. Okay, so it means people from outside will be bringing in their kids to school here, right? And if their kids are here, it means they are, interest to be in this environment. So, okay, there's a camp coming up here for a major church, right? So it means people will be trooping in here. So all of those factors are key to look at. So look at the population and growth, the population growth rather. Look at the population growth of the environment. Look at the commercial development. Also look at increasing demand in the area. So are people coming to buy here? People do people love to come and do certain kind of businesses here? So look at the demand. Look at why people love to go to that area. Before you go ahead to do purchase. So smart buyers think beyond today. That's also very key. You understand that you're not just buying for now, you're buying for the future, and it's not just for yourself, it is also for your children. So buy correctly. You don't want to buy a property that will give them issues or give you issues later. So number 10, which is the last but not the least, never buy without professional guidance. Now this is where a lot of buyers get it wrong now, because they feel, oh, I've been listening to Lawrence has guided me already about how to buy, so I don't need an agent. No, you still need an agent. Now, agents are well grounded with real estate matters. They know the going rates of properties. They know properties that have problems. They know estates that have issues. So they can guide you, and especially when you come out plain or come out truthful to them or come out sincere, they can guide you. So yeah. So, but not all agents though. Some agents actually have a bad habit of guiding you wrong because they want to make profit. So be careful who you call an agent. So this is where many people make custom mistakes. A qualified real estate professional can help you verify. Number one, they can verify the documents for you. Now, they can spot structural issues. They can negotiate a better price for you. They can identify hidden risks, right? So they can prevent expensive mistakes for you now because of their experience in the business. So ensure you are not just going alone to make the proper. That's buying a house is a major decision, so you don't want to go all by yourself, and then it's just like going to the court, going to a law court, right? And then you want to defend your case by yourself without a lawyer. Yeah, so that's how it is. So but with a property agent, he goes before you, he shows you properties already because he knows them, so he's able to give you options to choose from, and then when you choose the one you like, you can now schedule for an inspection. You get, so now he also would guide you through the process before you finally get the keys to the property. So that said, the right advice can save you millions of naira. The right advice from the right agent, so you don't want to be in a mess. So get the right agents to do the job for you or with you. Buying a house isn't just about finding the one you love. It's about making a decision you would still be proud of. I mean, years and years from now, right? So that said, I've come to the last on our list. So if you found this video helpful, subscribe to our channel. Please do. Please subscribe. Please subscribe to our channel right now for more practical real estate advice. And if you're planning to buy a house anywhere in Nigeria, feel free to reach out to us before making your final decision. I would love to help you. I would so love to help you buy with confidence. Thank you so much. My name is Lawrence Egbo.